Hey fam, what's good? What's good? I hope this you're well and keeping safe. Welcome back to another one. Now we will be covering HNS, head and shoulders. Right now, what is a head and shoulder pattern? Now check this out. Let's look at the sketch first before we're gonna dive into the criteria of what a head and shoulder pattern is. Okay, now let's look at the sketch. Guys, I want you guys to keep in mind that market structure is super crucial, right? Market structure will come in handy on any pattern you're going to find yourself, executing price from or basically identifying, right? Now check this out. Look at this. Look at the left shoulder. The left shoulder is basically a previous area which served as an area of resistance, right? The head is where we broke our previous area of resistance, right? And this area was supposed to serve as an area of support for price to have a further continuation move back towards the upside, right? But unfortunately, price failed to do that and found itself literally faking out from this region right there, right? Closing back below our area of resistance, making it remain an area of resistance, right? There was no rejection happening from here to show us some upside momentum. Instead, price found itself coming all the way down back into this region right over here. Just like I might mention, every pattern has a neckline. Okay, and your neckline is going to come through at your previous area of support, which price will find itself coming back into, bounce off. And where will your right shoulder be forming? Your right shoulder will literally form at your previous area, which was serving as an area of resistance. Okay, so after seeing this, what do you wait for? You wait for price to break below your neckline, and this area over here will now be serving as your neckline, right? And after price is breaking your neckline, look at this. Can you guys see, if we're going to look at market structure, this will be your high, the hit will be your high. Can you guys see that we now have a lower high? These relatively equal lows over here will be your low. Once price broke below, what did we create? A lower low. And after a market creating a lower low, what do you expect to happen next? You expect the market to have some sort of a pullback to create a lower high so that you can find yourself looking for some lovely short opportunities. Where can you find yourself looking for, that pullback to hit into? That will literally be inside the neckline of your pattern. Okay, and where's the neckline? Right over here. Right over here inside this region right there. Price created a lower low, found itself pulling back into the neckline, and this is where you look for your rejection to look for some lovely short opportunities towards the downside. Right now, let's look at the criteria of a head and shoulder pattern. This pattern normally forms when we fake out of an area of resistance, right? Basically, just like we mentioned over here, the head, right? The head found itself breaking above the area of resistance, right? Failed to keep it as an area of support, and we found ourselves dipping even more. Price will test the previous area of resistance where we faked out from the right shoulder, basically this region right over here, as we made mention, right? From there, you are waiting for some sort of a rejection. Okay, price will break the neckline and create a lower low. Wait for price to pull back into the neckline for any selling opportunities. Okay, so there you can see price broke the neckline, as we made mention, right over there, right? Creating that lower low. After price is creating that lower low, you wait for price to pull back into the neckline to look for some lovely short opportunities. Okay, quite simple. Keep it simple. Okay, keep it simple. Now let's look at an inverse head and shoulder, right? Let's dive into the criteria, as this is only the opposite of a head and shoulder. Okay, now check this out. This pattern normally forms when we fake out of an area of support now, right? So this area over here, the left shoulder, was our area of support. right? Price found itself breaking below our area of support, failed to keep it as an area of resistance to have a further dip back towards the downside, right? Instead, price had a further push back towards the upside, making this area of support remain an area of support. So what do you wait for next? Price will test the previous area of support where we faked out from, right? The right shoulder. Can you see that this is the area which we found ourselves faking out from, right? So the right shoulder will find itself coming back into this area over here, our area of support, right? And price will break the neckline and create a higher high. Wait for price to pull back into the neckline for any buying opportunities. Okay, now once again, check this out. Low. What do we have over here? The right shoulder will be a higher low. What will this area over here be? A higher low as well. Right? A higher low. Looking at the highs, this will be your high. So what will this be? A higher high. So after price is breaking above your neckline, this is when price creates that higher high. This is when you like, boom, which market consists out of a higher high? A bullish market. Price is bullish, right? After creating that higher high, what do you expect for? You expect price to have a pullback, right? So that you can find yourself looking for some lovely, lovely long opportunities. And where can you potentially get those long opportunities? Literally from the neckline over here. So you wait for price to pull back into the neckline, you wait for your rejection, and there is where you're going to find yourself looking for some lovely, lovely long opportunities, right? Now, note this pattern change market structure as well, right? So as you guys can see that we were inside a bullish market with our HNS over here. Higher high was created, right? But after breaking the neckline, we created a lower low. So our structure came from a bull market straight into a bear market. Look at an inverse HNS, right? We came from a high, lower high over there. So structure was clearly bearish, right? We had a low, lower low over there. But then price found itself creating a what? A higher high. So what happened? Price switched from a bear market into a bullish market. Okay, and that is literally how an HNS, a head and shoulder pattern look like. I only want to see it looking like this, right? I like seeing my head and shoulder pattern looking textbook. Okay, textbook. So that is literally it when it comes down to our head and shoulder pattern. I will show you an example inside the market. I will see you in the next one. I'm out.